Y'all, we're here. They're really doing their best to make me even more excited for Fortune's Weave, dog. I didn't need a new Edelgard. I was fine. It's not necessary. They didn't have to, but like like I'll take it. Oh boy. Dog, Edelgard might be Chinese, it turns out. It actually lines up really fucking well because one of her lost items was fine porcelain from a far eastern country. And all we know is that for some reason, even though her mom was some kind of noble, she had to be the emperor's concubine instead of his wife. Which kind of implies there was some reason he couldn't get married to her. And if she was a foreigner, that makes a lot of sense because there's no territory to attach to. So it actually checks out a lot that Edelgard's mom is from fantasy China. Um, and now we have Honghua, who is gonna make me learn how to pronounce Mandarin names. We're drawing more hot woman. Yeah, I was gonna do one of the boys this week, but now there's Chinese Edelgard, so we have to draw her. She came into existence yesterday and deviated my plans. Hmm. Yeah, it turns out Edelgard's Chinese, probably. Um. Yeah, it turns out something we've learned about Edelgard is Edelgard might probably be half Chinese, fantasy Chinese. Look, women are just better, accept this fact of life. Hey, I don't want to be reverse sexist. There's great men. I like women more. I understand there are people who disagree. Yeah. Do we need a zapper? No zappers needed. Let me. Yeah, so let's grab the woman. Let's take a look. I shall copy and put it on the screen. There you go. Honghua. This is Honghua. Um, so let's take a look at some facts about Honghua. Now, there's a chance Edelgard's bloodline and traditions just made it out of her country. But also, what we must consider is this is years and years and years in the future. This is centuries in the future from three houses, right? She has Edelgard-esque bangs, buns, little gold thingies. Her name, Honghua, is apparently either Mandarin or Cantonese for crimson flower. Crimson flower is the name of Edelgard's route in Three Houses. She has the same type of gold clasp with a shoulder cloak. She has this cord, which Edelgard has, little frillies on one shoulder, which Edelgard's outfit had. And she has black tights and a red outfit, where Edelgard had a black outfit and red tights. And she has purple eyes, and she has little dots here, and Edelgard had little cheek shinies, but a lot of characters had that. Now, here's the deal, right? Edelgard, we know her mom was some kind of important, but also that the Emperor had to make her a concubine instead of a wife, even though he loved her. It would make sense that she's a foreigner for that to be the case. We also know that one of Edelgard's lost items is a fine porcelain from the East. There is a very good chance. Wait, it is after? Yes, everybody assumed that it was older, but no, it is just set in the Middle East. So they still have a Colosseum because it's Byzantium. The main zone of the game, it appears, is Byzantium in an early Renaissance, late medieval. You ready for your Honghua? Dude, Honghua, I'm all about. Also, apparently she's a girl failure, which is an archetype I'm all about. It's funny that both Edelgards are like my favorite archetypes of like arrogant and girl failure. You lost your shit when you saw her name? Yeah. So it turns out Edelgard's probably half Chinese. Fantasy Chinese. Obviously, there's no China in the world of Fodlan, but I didn't comment about your 7-stream streak yesterday. I'm so sorry, Snoll. That was rude of me. Congrats on your 8-stream streak. I'm about her. I like her. I like her a lot. It's tough. Do I like her more than Esmeralda? Probably not. But I also don't. I want them to just try to rehash my favorite characters. I'm glad she's her own thing and is connected thematically to Edelgard without attempting to just be Edelgard. So this is who we're drawing today. You do love girl failures? Yeah. If anyone wants to know the 2 characters that are most my type, actually, I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3 characters. Sasha from Attack on Titan, Edelgard from Fire Emblem, and Sylvia from Potionomics. Those aren't all evil. Only one of them is debatably evil, and even then, she has good intentions. She's just cruel and reckless because of her short lifespan. Edelgard, if Edelgard's evil or not, it kind of depends on which one you go through. Your crackbot's like reincarnation. Nah. I think Edelgard's just half Chinese. That's what I'm gonna say. Look, this girl is a girl failure. You can't have an Edelgard girl failure. That's not her. Where's York? Look, I just like York. She's not in the peak of my type. She's just cute. She's got freckles. No. Those are the 3 peaks of my type. Is Sasha Browse, Sylvia Potionomics, and Edelgard Fire Emblem. You were watching the Mom Zerk VOD? I hope you have a good time. That was a fun one. Okay, well, I have reference, but I'm going to need to deviate because I didn't find one that looks just like her like last time. A little weird to realize you're your type? Huh. See, I'm specific. I don't want women that can beat me up. I want women that could beat other people up, but who couldn't beat me up. You know? All right, let's try to learn. We're going to do our best. We're getting back in the swing of things. Yeah, I'm excited to find out that Edelgard, it turns out, probably Chinese. Weird, because, like, I've thought of her as the German princess this whole time, but it turns out... Sasha and Edelgard? Well, Edelgard has superpowers. That's not fair. Okay, they could beat me up, but I think if I was in their setting, you know, and what if I had a crest too? Then, nah, 80 is 2 crests. She can still beat me up. Sasha would beat me up for some potatoes. Oh my god, guys, what's up with me? You know another character I think is hot is Gold Mary from Fire Emblem Engage? What's up with me and women who steal potatoes? That's a specific thing, isn't it? I love when a character steals potatoes. Chinese, but in a secret way. Yeah, it appears that's where we're going. Oh boy, Fire Emblem? Dude, Fire Emblem. Yeah. It's Chinese Edelgard Day. I'm not beating Gold Mary in arm wrestling. She's from a world where people can be super strong. I think if I was in that world, I'd be stronger. Maybe I like Irish women. That feels like specific. Your fair potatoes are good? Yeah. Okay, let's work on facial structure. Jesus Christ, Moon Boy. Oh yeah, I should turn on multi-stream in case someone over in YouTube is talking. Sorry, YouTube people, if you were talking. I didn't see. I don't think you were, from what I can tell. Is this one also an authoritarian girl boss? No, Chinese Edelgard is a self-loathing girl failure, from what we can tell. Which is also a great archetype. No better. Okay, yep. Getting a good versus match for Edelgard is hard because every pair that has a good thematic comparison are either too weak or too strong. Yeah, Edelgard kinda has the All Might problem, where All Might is at the level where anyone you'd want to make him fight if you wanted to do like a death battle or something is either way out of his league or he demolishes. You left the AC for the stream? That's weird that you can't do that. You can relate. You can have relate. Well, you're not a girl, you are a failure. Don't be mean to yourself, even if it's funny. Well, okay, if it's funny, you're allowed to be a little mean. All right, let's just loosely feel out some structure, huh? So, Chinese facial structure is very interesting because the traditional appearance of Han Chinese very specifically doesn't have like a very strong bridge of nose, not a lot of cartilage, largely a less rounded face. There's less curve to it. There's more flat planes. But there's also a lot of variance, you know? Not every Han Chinese person has those features. They're just common. So what reference you use really changes a lot. And the issue is I could find many Han Chinese examples of women to watch the faces of for this that had many of her facial features, Hung Hua's facial features, but I couldn't find any that had all of them, which is the big issue I ran into. Let's try a different tone to make it a little bit wetter. Voice switch via the app. Okay. Girl boss, girl failure. Where's girl revolutionary? That's Edelgard. Edelgard is girl revolutionary. I'm sorry. Dimitri players don't want to be counter revolutionary, so they'll deny it, but that's Edelgard. Edelgard's the girl revolutionary. She's also the girl boss. For example, she massacres Daenerys or Stannis, but gets stomped by Griffith or the Emperor. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think she could even take Daenerys with dragons. Edelgard's a monster. You miss these kind of streams? Yeah, we're back to it. We're just hanging. Close you can think of is Ronnie the Witch. I could see that, but her resistance is like her lowest stat. Magic is Edelgard's weakness. Good evening. Collecting opinions. Who do you think is the best athlete turned actor? I truly can't think of any that aren't Shaq or Michael Jordan. I haven't seen the new one, so I don't know how. Is it LeBron did? If I have to pick between Shaq and Michael Jordan, I guess I'll pick Shaq. Dave Bautista? Wait, wrestlers? No, they're already actors. That's theater performance. It's just an athletic theater. Look, guys, I'm not counting Batista as an athlete any more than I count like stuntmen, you know? Like that is athletic. It is impressive athleticism, but they're not competing at athletics. The competition is a competition of performance. Oh, Ronnie and Blade versus Edelgard and Dimitri. Edelgard and Dimitri shouldn't be on a team. Like, you can't fanfiction that hard. They don't get to, they should and they would team up, but fate always causes the wrong things to be said for them to never team up. You can't let them work together, but it sounds cool. Not a lot. Oh, you don't know? Just athletes who had nothing else. Carl Weathers? I don't know who Carl Weathers is. I'm realizing. So something you should know about me, if I play Trivial Pursuit, I fuck up every time it comes. Oh yeah, flatter face means less nose bridge. Something you should know about me, when I'm playing Trivial Pursuit, I fuck up every single time that it's a pop culture question. As a Mexican, I've made an enemy on all of Mexico with my horrible wrestling takes. I'm not saying wrestling's not impressive. I'm saying it's not competitive athletics. The thing that they are competing at is not athleticism. They are high-level athletes, but like they're not, I consider what they're doing performance because that's what they're judged on, right? Like they're not competing over who scores the most points or who jumps the highest or whatever. They just also are required to be skilled athletes for the performance they do. It is performing arts. Okay, Andy Casp, I get it. I'm performative? Dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not... Like, I'm not going to say they're not incredibly athletic. They can do incredible things. The athleticism required to be a pro wrestler is incredible. What I'm saying is I'm not going to count you in the athlete turned performer because you were already a performer. You have an innate advantage. There you go, Saber. Saber's on my side. There's no winner or loser. It's predetermined. Yeah, except when Hulk Hogan cheated one time, and then they made a kill policy on if anyone pulled that shit again. But it made his career, so he won. Haberfax? My reasoning is that taking apart the kingdom was easy enough that she didn't have to become more of a monster. My reasoning is that in the Dimitri route, you hold the kingdom together enough that she needs to keep siding and working with, what's her fuck? The Agarthan pretending to be, Cornelia. And because of that, she is losing herself more and more as she makes more and more moral compromises. Whereas if you're not with Dimitri, if Dimitri never had you, he's so unstable that he can't put up a good resistance, and she can let Cornelia to her own devices and know that that's her enemy still, and she's not forced to be as brutal and lose herself as much. That's my theory to why Edelgard keeps herself together in the Claude run and not the Dimitri run. It's something I've thought a little bit about. Who's stronger, Edelgard or 20-year-old Toph? Toph. If look, if you want to go by who feels stronger within their narrative, it's debatable, but maybe 80. But like, the level of super strength ordinary people have on top of bending in Avatar is silly. Like, it doesn't feel like they should, but if like power scalers do the measurements, and it's stupid. Edelgard's not cool because she's strong. She's strong as part of her character, but it's a strength that comes with a tragedy. Her being so strong isn't cool. Realistically, she should be much weaker than Dimitri. Dimitri is a big man with a major crest. He should be stronger than her. And the fact that Edelgard's strength is nearly as high as Dimitri's and that she's nearly as competent is because of horrible things that have put her into being someone awful. Oh, you're just using your 5-point apology? Oh, okay. Toph is the top of an already impressive power system. Yeah. Edelgard is like, has a slower strength growth than Dimitri. In general, Dimitri's a monster. Dimitri is like the eugenics of his world. He, like, because being large and being a man does make you stronger in that setting. It's just crests also make you stronger. Edelgard has 2 crests. Dimitri is a major crest and is a big man. Who's the strongest Fire Emblem character? Ike, and it's not close. And if anyone says otherwise, shoot them. Edelgard has the literal blood of Christ in her veins? Yes, and if she was a big man, she might be as strong as Dimitri, but she's 5 feet fucking tall. The fact that she's nearly as strong as Dimitri should tell you that having the blood of Christ did a lot for her. Also, by Christ, we mean a magic space dragon. Is he weaker than 20-year-old Zuko? Yeah, because Zuko can, as a teenager, could kick through iron chains for some reason. I love Avatar. How strong people are, in addition to bending, I don't like. You would argue the Laguz Royals are the strongest? Okay, you're probably right. Strongest human is Ike, though, okay? The strongest human is Ike, and you can't take it from me. Debatably, possibly Marth. We're gonna get an Immaculate One type boss because there's a bunch more space dragons. Yeah, Endicasp, you are right. The only grown man with the blood of Christ we see is a boss battle without needing to transform. So yes, if Dimitri had Sothis' crest injected into him, he would have probably been fucking Nemesis times 2. Jesus Christ. If Ike is so strong, then why does your buddy Waldo always lose with him on Smash? Because Smash Bros. Has that effect of every crossover game or every fighting game based off a franchise where everybody gets, like, Dragon Ball Wish to the same power level beforehand. Link beats Ike? Yeah, but Link's not a Fire Emblem character. Link cheats. He has gadgets. Ike has a sword and a dream. Yes, Link could beat Ike in a fight. He's got, like, weird magic items going on. You're so excited for Seven Havens, but Korra discourse going to be asinine? Yeah, until later in the season when we find out Korra saved the world and all of the Korra haters who are already dumb bitches get whiny for no reason. Appreciate I blame Smash, not Waldo. He's sensitive. Why do you have a buddy named Waldo? Where are you at? Link has gadgets for specific problems, primarily uses Sword and Shield. Yeah, but bullshit. He could put on gauntlets and throw Ike. The man has bombs. He's got magic items. He can shoot fire. Every Link has his own bullshit he could use. The fucking magic power-up masks. Tunics that turn money into infinite life. Like, the man's cheating, okay? Ike has a sword. Yeah, Star Fox beats both of them by that logic. By what logic? I don't know what you're responding to at this point. Waldo's a cool guy, just not good at Smash. Twilight goes Beyblade. Yeah, dude, look, there's a lot he could do to kill Ike. Ike, like, Fire Emblem isn't a power scaler's dream of a franchise. Like, the characters are stronger than normal humans, but they're not, like, good for power scaling. That's not why we like the series. Link versus Ike sword only? Depends on the Link. Ike beats most of them, in my opinion. In my opinion, if you go sword only, Ike would beat most Links. I think he'd probably lose to Twilight Princess, because on base stats, that seems like the strongest one. You don't care about power scaling, but you like talking about how? I do too. I enjoy who would win fights. It's just when it becomes math that's bullshit, I get mad. Twilight Princess Link is OP? Yeah. Does Ike beat Guts Berserk? Depends. I think Ike beats Guts until, like, Robot Arm post-Eclipse. I think end of game Ike beats Guts until he's got the Dragon Slayer and the cannon. And then Guts wins. Breath of Wild Link is a beast. I think Ike still takes it. The philosophy of power scaling is fun. The physics is tedious at best. I even find the philosophy has become toxic. Because the philosophy at this point is effectively like judging a series by needing a consistent amount of feats. And I don't know. I find it bullshit. It needs to be vibes. It needs to be vibes. The strongest is actually Echoes of Wisdom because Zelda. Well, that's not Link, though. That's not Link. We were talking about the man Link. Zelda ain't Link. As a physics master student, you like theorizing about power scaling, how certain characters beat others, but actual power scaling discourse is garbage. Yep. That's my feel. No, I think Ike beats Guts until he's got the Dragon Slayer. Like, Ike is a monster. Ike is him. Dog. Okay, for people who don't know the story of the Tellius games, allow me to explain this. The story is there's chosen ones who are the inheritors of a great blessing of the goddess of chaos and the goddess of order and being guided by them, and the goddess of order is being brought back to restart civilization and destroy those creatures who are creating chaos, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of this, the person who mostly solves this is Ike. And you might go, okay, so what is he? What's his prophecy? Nothing. He's a guy with a magic sword that allows him to kill the goddess, or at least shut her down so she goes into a magic coma. And you might go, okay, wait. You're saying Ike has a magic prophesized blade that's super strong? No, it's just like a really good sword. It just is able to put her down. He's just him. He's just so him that in a story about prophecies and gods, he's just so strong that he's still the best fighter and your best unit in your army. You have all these prophesized figures, you have all these people of import, you have a goddess in human form, all this bullshit, and Ike is the best. Because he's Ike, and that's all that matters. I think Ike might be the only Fire Emblem character I feel confident saying beats Dimitri in a 1v1. Of the characters you get to play as. You prefer Nephany? Nephany's great. Ike is him. Also, Nephany has nothing to her. She's just the peak of a fodder Fire Emblem character being likable from a fun design and supports. You establish hard rules to squeeze the series into. You establish... Nope, you don't need to do this. You don't... It's all vibes. It needs to be vibes. The more rules you do, the more you fall down the path of corruption. The abominable intelligence come for thee. You invite... You invite the forces of chaos. You invite Tzeentch into your mind when you set these. Her and the always hungry chick. The always hungry chick, I'm pretty sure, is named Ilani, isn't she? Which is funny to say. Ilyana! It's just similar, so I got confused. Stuff like Allnen and Chakra Man are the same. Okay, that's a fine rule, actually. That's a fine rule. Yeah, you just treat them like they're different applications of the same thing. I'll give you that one. Nephany, the always hungry chick, sword girl. Aberfax, it sounds like you are picking women, huh? Also, Sword Girl, isn't there like several Sword Girls? Or are they mostly lances? Oh, Mia! You mean Mia. So what I'm hearing is you love fodder characters. Also, Ilyana has the worst taste in men of any character in fiction. Granted, no. He's, he's worse actually than a girl failure. I was gonna say I like girl failures, but like yeah. Ill needs someone here in chat. Yeah, physics person don't make more rules, just don't. He was the strongest. Guys, I had a realization about a JJK character, right? So you got the comedian man, right? You've got the man whose power is what he thinks is funny is how his power works, right? I had a realization about this. If you put him against the Straw Hat crew, he gets dunked on by Usopp. He gets dunked on by Nami. Chopper's a toss-up. Everybody else he kicks the fucking ass of because it's funnier if he wins. And then he fights Luffy, right? And he kicks the shit out of Luffy. He kicks the shit out of Gear 2nd Luffy. He kicks the shit out of Gear 3rd Luffy. He kicks the shit out of Gear 4th Luffy harder. And then Luffy goes Gear 5th and it's a stomp. Luffy wins so fucking hard because it's never funny to kick Bugs Bunny's ass. It will never be funny to win a fight against Bugs Bunny. So he just wins harder and harder against Luffy until Luffy goes Gear 5th and gets hard stomped. And I think that's hilarious. That makes sense, Haberfax. It was proof how garbage JJK is compared to Hunter x Hunter. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, of course it's worse. It just has cooler fights. He could tie with Frankie. I think Frankie's got too cool of a design. I think it's funnier, especially with how Frankie goes along with getting his ass kicked. But I think Luffy Gear 5th kicks his ass because it's never funny to beat Bugs Bunny. Can you get into it? I don't remember who the fuck Miwa is. I'm going to say no for now because I don't want to get pulled into JJK because I don't care enough about it. Frankie and Takaba have a draw. I'll accept this, but I disagree. I think Takaba wins. It's just not as easy as it is. Kicking Zoro's ass, easy peasy. It's so funny if Zoro can't win. Blue hair girl with a katana? I'm not getting into it. Nope, you're not getting me, Snow. Miwa's the 10-10. You're not. This is like a smooth gradient into her nose. How do we do this? The problem is if someone wants Frankie to look cool, they're not going to like his post-time skip design because it looks dumb. You must be of the right mindset. I saw a post today where someone said, y'all need to cool it with the whimsy shit. It's becoming very epic bacon. And now I'm scared. I'm scared of using the word whimsy because I'm like, holy shit, is whimsy the new epic bacon? Is he right? Are we in it? Y'all, you're not getting me to talk about JJK anymore. Raph, you know what epic bacon means. You have to be able to put this together. Unless you're not a millennial, then I guess you won't. Do I think Ishmael is going to be unintentionally as funny as Byleth? No. I think Byleth is unique with being the weird little freak who doesn't feel proper feelings where they lampshade being an RPG main character. Gilgamesh, like, versus Gilgamesh? All right, what are we... Sorry, I meant... What? I don't even know what... Snow, I said no! I'm not engaging! Also, I haven't read JJK. I've only watched the anime. It wasn't for me? All right. Who are we talking about with Gilgamesh? Are we talking about Ike versus Gilgamesh? Because Gilgamesh would win, yeah. Emdicrasp, I think they will, but it's going to be different because they're like a weird prophesized figure. Also, everyone needs to stop fucking complaining about Byleth. You're wrong. Byleth is actually great, and you're wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're so wrong and your opinions are so bad. It sucks to be you, I guess. Byleth was great as a stoic dealer with all the nonsense, but not just that. Byleth was lampshaded the RPG main character syndrome by everyone remarking how it's weird. It made the impactful moment mean more when Byleth actually reacts to Geralt dying. Also, importantly, it's a great representation of us in the game, because the only time Byleth starts to react emotionally is when we've become invested enough in the story that we react emotionally, which is great storytelling because Byleth represents how a story changes by the perspective of the player and the protagonist. Byleth is the representation. It's why your crest is the crest of flames, because you are the story of Fire Emblem. You are the story being told. That's great. I'm sorry you can't handle great themes. Geralt relationships becomes more frustrating. It does, but Geralt's just a bad dad. That's fine. Didn't want kid to be groomed to be the next, to be taken over by an alien dragon parasite in your chest, I guess. I mean, who is Byleth? Byleth is either season 0 Seto Kaiba or a big titty autistic girl who doesn't know how to dress herself. Used to hate Byleth. You've come around the last year. I'm glad you've seen the light. I think Ishmael is going to be very specific because it's about like religious prophecy, it feels like. So I think we're going to see something that feels very like a descendant angel, still an outsider, still like an alien being in the way Byleth was, but more significantly. What JJK's fault? I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk JJK. I'm sorry I brought up the funny guy. I'm sorry. That's why you relate to her? All right, Endicasp, you're allowed to have that opinion. Yes, if you play as male Byleth, you are season 0 Seto Kaiba. Hey, did you guys know that if you learn the Loomis methods of drafting heads, a ton of the rules you learn are specifically for like Western European facial features and aren't as consistent as you're led to believe they are? You were talking not male Byleth, a big titty autistic who doesn't know how to dress herself? That's you? All right. And by the way, when I say big titty, I mean, like, I didn't notice for an entire playthrough, and then I looked at her character model one day and went, what the fuck? And then I checked, and there's internal inside the game stats for boobs, so that when you switch a character's class, their model stays accurate. And her boob stat is second only to the disaster girl, older woman, alcoholic teacher, as far as characters are allowed to play as, and then both of them lose to shape-shifting coup orchestrator. Yeah, Manuela. Manuela beats her barely. Post-time skip Dorothea nearly ties Byleth. And Cornelia beats them both somehow. I won't get the joke probably, CN. I don't know, maybe. Don't they both lose to Rhea? No, Rhea's boobs are actually smaller than Byleth's. If you look at their concept art, you wouldn't believe that. But if you look in-game at their character model, yeah. Cornelia makes sense with her design, it does. Her boobs being like 230%, I think they're like 240, it's crazy. Yeah, Byleth has 200% boob. Edelgard post-time skips got like 40% boob. We love her. Something kind of funny that they did by accident with Edelgard is she has like 40% boob, and then but her boobs are noticeably bigger in her custom outfit, her battle gown, than in when you put her in a standard outfit, which I think was just done so it matched the concept art. But what it means is, in lore, it implies that she had her chest padded on her battle gown, and I think that's very funny. I find that incredibly funny. Personally. Does Rhea have the widest hips? I'm not sure if they actually have a stat for that is the thing. I think so, probably. What even is big titty? Animates like G? I think measuring out, I remember seeing online from someone who measured it with her character model, that unironically, using her character model, not concept art, Byleth has J-cup tits, and I'm not joking. I saw another person, yeah, like, yeah. Just for fun, why not do stuff, Sam Fisher? Like, why not do stuff because it's funny? Why not live your life doing things because they're funny? I think it's funny to find out, if you have access to a character model, what the cup size of a fictional character is when you're shocked at it. I just found it funny for me that I didn't notice that she had a giant chest compared to everyone else in the game on my entire first playthrough. And then I played again and went, what the fuck? Well, Haberfax, you have to remember, she has a magic crest with Jesus blood that gives her super strength. Her back is fine. No, her back is fine because she has magic Jesus blood powers from a space dragon. So she's okay. Jesus blood space dragon. Most people don't actually understand how measurements work. Yeah, but no. This was someone who went through the effort. Don't you worry. I saw their work. It looked thought out. It was on Reddit forever ago. Was it on Reddit? I don't remember. Maybe it was on a forum. Just sent you the joke. All right. All right. Yeah, this was spoiled for me. I'm not going to put it on. That is incredibly funny and stupid. Which Fire Emblem character? Female Byleth. This one's Honghua, who is Chinese Edelgard. We already talked about the evidence, and I don't feel like doing it again. Let's see. Needs a little bit less width. I'm so bad at getting the width of a face right. This is better. I have to remember her face is quite flat. Who would win? Byleth from the... Wait. I don't know who that is. All right. All right. Guys, I'm so excited for Fortune's Weave. It just keeps getting more exciting for me. I am a little bit like, man, should I bother with this when I really do want to work on a fighting climate change campaign? But I think I deserve one last fun thing before diving into making an advocacy project. It's one of those things where it's like, I've thought about how to get involved with politics a lot, and I actually think just my ability to speak with dire poetry puts me in a situation where becoming an advocate is actually probably more useful than becoming a politician. So maybe I should focus on advocacy, and I'm going to work on that. I want to come up with a way of creating a rallying cry that is really good at motivating selfish people. Selfish and unhinged. I don't know who Beyblade is. Guys, I watched Beyblade as a child, and the show left zero impact on me. Don't expect me to know anything about Beyblade. Expect nothing for my Beyblade wisdom. All that the impact left on me is I remember all of the original crest creatures had a DR for the start of their name for some reason. Yeah, I know they're a spinny toy. All right. All right. I refuse to interact with Snoll. No, Snoll refuses to interact with me. Snoll is saying, hey, you're going to talk about this. And I go, no, I'm not. The hype train has ended, guys. We made it to 0%. If I'd noticed that sooner, I might have tried to push for it, but I didn't. Oh, of course I didn't. I'm looking at multi-stream, so I can't see hype trains. Well, oh, I can't see who subbed either. Thank you for subbing, whoever did. I really appreciate it. All is the shiny keys. All right. Okay. We do need to start adding in other details here. So let's start getting in the flower. Roses are hard as fuck to draw, man. So yeah, for people who aren't here at the beginning, Honghua translates to crimson flower, and there's some other evidence we can go on that suggests Edelgard may have been half fantasy Chinese. Yeah, my Chinese kids are Fire Emblem. Talk about Fire Emblem if you want to get me. But also, it's never going to be Beyblade. I'm sorry, you're never going to get me off topic on Beyblade. That's not going to do it. Roses are easy to draw, they're just scribbles. Okay, so roses are hard to draw depending on the standards you're looking for. I mean, I'm just going to use this reference. It looks pretty solid. I like the structure they have. If I cared more about flowers, I would look at that. But I need to study facial anatomy, so that's what I've been working on lately. I have no idea what you're talking about, Moon Boy, and I'm not even joking. I genuinely don't know. Roses are easier to pipe than to draw. That makes sense. The pattern of the rose is very organic, so I imagine piping it would fall very naturally. That sounds hard. Chinese game with the wolf guy? Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. Look. I didn't say I would never talk about it, because we already had talked about it once. I said I didn't want to talk about it that day that Jay kept bringing it up. That game was a topic of interest for me because of the CCP's response. Beyblade, I'm sorry, I don't know if you know this, hard to turn into a political conversation. Hard for me to find an angle to talk about culture broadly and government intervention in media with fucking Beyblade. Jay, if you're here, you get an apology point from them right now. You get one apology point from Moonboy and Snoll for lumping them in with you. They are forced to give you an apology point for conflating your causes. Okay, well now, Jay, now I regret giving you an apology point if you're going to be smug. If you're going to be smug about an unrelated topic... No, you need 5 apology points to do anything with them. Until you have 5 apology points, they don't do anything. You can now legally pet manatees. Guys, that's going to end badly. Anything done by the Trump EPA is bad. Like, I'm sorry. I'm refusing to look at that as good in any way. You tried to help me? Okay, with the parallel line stuff? Alright. Alright. We'll get to the rose and I'll try your help. Language of flowers. Red rose mean bravery, sacrifice, deep admiration, with a single one meaning that towards a single person. Okay, but what about, hear me out, a crimson rose? Huh? What about that? Because crimson is specifically an orangish red or a reddish orange. So, like, how about then? What's he mean then? What's he doing then? That's a different color. You still want your apology for the wolf has been out for a month, even though the government's like, what the fuck, release him? It really feels like they're doing the thing they did on the Nikki game where they're just going to annihilate their brand and let it die for no good reason, despite the fact that the artists who worked on them are probably heartbroken and dying inside from their very hard work not existing. You're brave, but in orange. What did Moonboy say? You owe like 3 points to Jay because you once badly talked about Argentina. I mean, let's be frank. Argentina, guys, Argentina elected Milei. They deserve at least as much bad faith contempt as America does. No, actually less. Like a third as much because America forces the rest of the world to suffer with them, whereas Milei is largely just in the borders. But I would say Argentina deserves a third as much blatantly rude, asshole-ish misunderstandings of their culture as America. That feels fair to me. I think Milei earns them that. I researched Belgium perfectly. You got French people. Milei is part of Plan Condor 2.0. Motherfucker, I mean, you're right. Crimson specifically means unchanging commitment. Goddamn. Unrelated to manatees, ocelots might go extinct in the US because of Musk. Hey guys, I hate to break it to you. Like, we're looking at like, it's a good outcome if 90% of species go extinct, and I'm not joking. The kids, we're in the end game now. There's a reason why after I stream Fortune's Weave, I might go kind of sicko mode as an activist as much as I can afford to. Because obviously I need money to live. Because it's bad out there, Chief. That makes sense. Milei would. Did your doomerism spark my drive that much? Kind of. I also came up with branding that I think works, and I realized I am good, probably because of poetry degree, at improvising a very brutal, intimidating sounding retort. I've been doing some practice on how I would act if interviewed as an activist, and I think I could genuinely scare people, which is my goal. I want to terrify reporters. I want a reporter to interview me and to be like, you understand that you are not rich enough to survive the end of the world that you're being paid to defend, right? That your hands will be blistered from the smoke and flames. You will be hearing the dying cries of your loved ones as you escape a burning city. And you are being paid happily to defend that death that is being paid for by the people you speak on behalf of at this moment. To question me, to question my resolve, to question my cause, is to defend the inevitable destruction of the world you hold dear. Do you think about that? Do you know that? Do you understand it? Because it is not a guess, it is not a supposition or a prediction. It is a statement made true by the people whose job it is to understand the reality of the world we live in, whose predictions only grow more dire. They say this as fact, and yet you stand there in defense of the people who condemn you to these brutal gallows. And I think if I can do shit like that off the dome, it's maybe like actually a good place for me to be saying that, you know? No, I didn't have that in the chamber at all, Moon Boy. That was all off the dome. I was 100% off the top. Yeah, so I think if I can do that, maybe it's like not a bad place to be doing that to people who are defending capital as a class. Dark Crimson Rose mourning the complete language of flowers. Interesting. So yeah, I think if I can get in front of a reporter, I can do some good. At least every activist here who says stuff like that, we'll see. Look, I hope I can be successful as an activist. That's a goal. This one, we're not drawing naked, and you might say, why did we do it with Esmeralda then? Her outfit looked annoying, and this outfit looks cool, as far as to draw. This outfit seems fire to draw. Esmeralda's, I was bugged by. I looked at, and I felt irked. Y'all, they made Edelgard Chinese, and a self-hating girl failure chud. Oh my god, guys, she's one of the bad fans of the Wolf game. This is her. Guys, Edelgard doesn't want Velko in the game. Hunghua is out here. What if you remove the art? No, I won't remove the outfit. I'm not sure what I'll remove. It would be, I don't know, probably frustrating, but like, I would delete something. I'm not sure what. Also, somebody needs to tell me if somebody does it, because I'm realizing if I'm in multi-stream, I can't see it. YouTubers aren't seeing. It's actually not few, it turns out. Jay, based off of revenue drops, it seems like the majority of Chinese women actually also want Velko, but we're afraid to say it because of how brutally Velko fans are being bullied. So it does actually seem as though the majority of Chinese fans, okay, we'll do add a straw hat, all right, do want Velko based off of the revenue drop. Just so I don't forget to do it later, because I can't do it yet. Where the fuck am I? I want to get good. Now that I can draw again, I want to practice enough that I can be a great artist. I'm good, you know? Like, I'm better than a lot of people, but I want to be great. And I think I can do that with a little bit of practice over the next few months. Like, I genuinely feel like I've built enough knowledge that if I can do the push of enough practice to get my skills refined and get all the little things I've learned put into place properly, I'm about to have an explosion in quality. And I keep kind of dropping short of that goal every time I'm close. Now, granted, last time it was because of the injury, but I want to follow through on it. I want to be as good as I believe I can be. So we're going to keep up on practice days. That's going to be our Tuesday stream, is practice and chat. Probably drawing the Fortune's Weave cast mostly. Okay, nope. Ever consider doing some political comics? Okay. Maybe? Honestly, no. When I think of making comics, it's always, I'm not even joking, Reddit comic style sexual comedy. I find people hate them, but genuinely it opens up the door to be funnier in a short form if you're willing to be a bit risque, because sexuality opens people up to a more vulnerable space. And honestly, I just find it kind of fun. Yeah, hate me. Hate me all you want. I'm too powerful to care. Also, pizza cake's not that bad. People are just assholes because it's a successful lady. She's fine. What software do I use? What the fuck's Puppy Girl? What the shit? No, what? Clip Studio. Oh, wait. You don't see me as a funny guy, a little more straightforward to my points. Look, here's the deal. I can be funny. I'm not strictly a jokester. I like writing comedy. My video essays always have a touch of comedy. I think laughing is important to me. A big thing I said is I never want to put something on YouTube where I don't laugh at least once. That's actually one of my policies I have. but I also don't explicitly focus on comedy. Weird middle ground. I just think, I guess, comedy and fun should be, like, part of basically everything. Rather than something I make the goal. Definitely get that. Talking with friends who are willing to touch on sexual topic makes you feel like you'd be more open, even if you're initially squeamish. Interesting. That makes sense. Oh, the ones you share? You shared Puppy Girl comics? Okay. I don't remember who that is, but probably. Look, would I recommend Clip Studio? Is it, like, essential? I'm fun, just not comedic, you'd say? Moonboy, I think I don't really show that side to you guys. I don't want to be a comedy streamer. I'm not a Doug type. But as a writer, I actually lean comedic pretty heavily. But I guess writing doesn't really come up here. So, like, why would you guys know that? If you watch the Claire Obscure essay, you'll notice I have a lot of pretty banger jokes in there. The reason for that is I like writing comedy a lot. It's just, can I be honest? I find political comedy comics often are a bit cringe. Probably that. It's obviously your point of view. That makes sense. Clip Studio, I don't think it's essential. I don't like that it's on a subscription now instead of purchasing outright, but it is a very, very good program. I am a big fan of it. It does everything you need. Yeah, if you watch the Claire Obscure essay, if you watch the new Fire Emblem one, they are funny. There's good jokes in there. I think when I'm streaming, I just like to be silly funny rather than, like, jokes. Let me see. This is looking good. This is nice, huh? Okay. Man, to live in an age where the world's not ending, huh? Because I think of all of the things I love to do, and I think in a golden age, I would love to just work and chill. But I feel like I gotta find a way to be productive towards the world not ending, because it feels like a real threat that I might have the ability to somewhat help be a part of stopping. Maybe like the precedented times, that'd be great. See a single panel comic depicting what I'm talking about in my poetic rants. I could see that. That could be fun. Potato chips on PB&J. What the fuck? Wait. On? You're not talking about putting PB&J on a potato chip. You're talking about having a peanut butter and jam sandwich and adding potato chips to it as a topper? You're a lunatic and I support it. I will never do this. I will never do what you've suggested. I'll put chips on a sandwich. There's a lot of sandwiches I'd put chips on. You want me to put some fucking crisps up in, like, a veggie sandwich? I'll do that shit. But for PB&J, never will I. You couldn't. You could pay me. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I could be paid, though. I could be paid to do so. Pretty easily. It wouldn't even cost much money. You couldn't pay me right now on stream because I don't want to get up and make that. You could pay me. I also don't have peanut butter, or I don't have crisps in the house, as the British would call them. Yeah. Think about it. Creamy jellies with some wonderfully nope. 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 I thought about it. Yeah, I found the answer. The answer was a solid, resounding nope. Fire Emblem 3 nopes. Yeah, NX is right. You just used, if you want texture in a PB&J, you use chunky peanut butter. Like a fucking human. The technology is out there. You don't need to invent the tech for the crunchy peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They made it already, and it's great. You've had chicken feet, you'll try Vegemite. More like Vegemite not. People. Hey, Australia, you realize that you're not a British prison colony anymore. You're allowed to eat food. You don't have to eat prison slop. Did Australia realize that? Hey guys, did Australia figure that out? What would my ideal Fire Emblem game be like? Well, I like that they mix it up. I actually have plans in the distant future, if the world doesn't end, to make my own Fire Emblem-esque roguelike, because I think it would be so awesome. What a great combination of features. But my ideal Fire Emblem game, honestly, I want something like Three Houses, but where the first half of the game is more interesting to replay if it's going to be so important to replay it to get the full story. And where the gameplay is balanced to accommodate jumping back in time the way it is in Engage to make it more challenging. Like, that is the only change I want, is basically combat that requires me to focus like Engage with the class building and storytelling of Three Houses with a more replayable first half. Stockholm Syndrome in the New World is strong. I'm sorry. What are you doing? What's the Stockholm Syndrome in the New World? Dog, the New World ain't got Stockholm Syndrome to our food. The New World, we have all the food. Three Houses, but interesting? No, Three Houses is interesting. I want interesting combat. Three Houses combat is, it's fine. It's good. It's like a good tactics game. Engage's combat is an incredible tactics game. You meant Australia with UK food. Oh, yeah. No, y'all don't have to eat the prison slop anymore. You can. I know they're technically New World, but they haven't earned the title. You know what I mean? They're not really. Like, but they're not spiritually New Worlders. If you're in Eurovision, you're not spiritually in the New World. Do all the Fire Emblems have a time skip? Most of them, but I don't think all of them, to my knowledge, right? It's like a really common thing, but not a necessity. Wait, in Brazil, use a term like New World for Australia? That rips. Super New World? That rips too. Newest World. Okay, they can have that title. They can have the Newest World. Isn't Canada joining Eurovision? Then we'll lose it. It'll just refer to the fucking Latins and US. Would a character selection that shifts the focus of gameplay between difficulty and narrative? Meryl, that sentence doesn't feel finished to me. I need to focus on shapes instead of specifics. Loose, shapy. Loose and shapy. Focus on flow, focus on rhythm. Don't focus on specifics. Okay. Australia is a cool country. It seems really cool. Genuinely terrified of visiting because what the fuck is that purgatory on Earth? True. Based. I would go to Australia. I feel like, guys, you might not know this, but it's about to get so fucking bad out there, Chief, that, like, what countries you think of as visitable are, after this year, not going to be the same. Like, how they have weathered climate change in the next year and a half, 2 years, is going to fundamentally change what you think of every country on the planet. Like, your opinion of every region you know is going to be different a year and a half from now than it is now. Just going by what scientists are saying we're in for. By the way, tomorrow there's an eclipse in Spain. You bring your friends for the sacrifice, or will the hand of God provide it? I say bring your friends for it. And if you're meant to sacrifice them, the Behelit will find its way to you. And just, you know, if your friends get the Behelit, just accept your fate as needing eternal damnation so they can achieve their destiny. And I think a good friend would be okay with that. And you can struggle on. You don't have to die. You can keep fighting. It's just like, you know, you let them go through with the ritual. Don't try to talk them out of it. That's rude. Ooh. You just had an ad. How much did you miss? Probably something. Well, NX, if it's too much work, you can die when they sacrifice you. You don't have to struggle on. Plus, you're not in Spain. You can't go to the eclipse. Why are we talking about ritualistic sacrifice? Because it's the day of the eclipse. In Spain. Tomorrow. Spanish Griffith needs to ascend. Okay, this isn't perfect, but it's not terrible. Honghua. Let me stretch for a second. Ugh. I missed drawing. I wanna just ascend, man. I wanna have my level up moment. It's time. We're out of time to have a slow transition. We have to nail home the deliberate inaction over the last few decades requires current sacrifice. Yeah. No, Meryl, you're right. My goal, let me tell you something. Do you know what the goal, if you think of the political goal and why what she did was effective at convincing people to move over for Greta Thunberg? Do you know what her goal was? Her goal was to appeal to empathy and reason so that the empathetic, altruistic, and reasonable people of the world would hear her plea, right? I don't think those will work at all. I don't think they were ever likely to work. I don't think those are the motivations. I want to appeal to people's selfish, clinging survival instinct, the need to go on and persist, the need to protect their families. I want to inspire people's fear, loathing, hatred, and desperation. And that might sound wrong, but I'm going to be honest, I don't give a shit if the world doesn't end, is kind of my whole thing. So I'm going to try to design a method of speaking. Wait. Rose petals are rotating pairs? So every time I draw one, if it looks weird, I need to figure out what his opposite is? Well, now you're helpful instead of smug, Jay. You were probably helpful before, but you seemed smug. So yeah, I like the idea of an activism that is meant to inspire, the unhinged and desperate into action. Exactly, CN. People who are altruistic and empathetic are already caring about climate change and wanting a sacrifice of life to change things. I want to appeal to the selfish and angry. Okay. You're angry at yourself, appeal to you. Stop being angry at yourself and build self-efficacy. Go out there and make the people who own a local oil company feel fucking terrified that more unhinged forces than you will arrive by dawn if they don't change their ways. Give them a fucking Scrooge moment. Summon a fucking demon to rent their nightmares asunder. I don't know. Consult with the old gods and summon Cthulhu to devour fucking North Texas so that the US has no domestic oil production. The phrase I've thought of to be the name of an advocacy movement that I've been thinking about pushing is stop killing me. Now you might say, what about stop killing us? No. Us evokes selflessness. Us evokes a collective. I believe in those things and I like it more. I think for the type of person I want to motivate, they need to, if I get them to say it, feel like it's about them. And then if we all say it together, it becomes a collective. But realistically, I think the collectivist mindset people, the people who care about others, are already pretty on board with stopping climate change. Can you time travel? I mean, can you time travel is my question. But also, Musk is not the be-all end-all. There's no bad guy, guys. Climate change doesn't have a villain. It has a system we've built up that now has created inescapable inertia sending us to hell. There's no one bad guy you can punch. Yeah. Okay. Talk of plans reminds you, CN, how tomatoes doing. CN, you have 3 seconds to tell us about tomatoes. I'm joking. Report to the principal's office to explain tomatoes. He's your nemesis? All right. I mean, you can punch your nemesis. My nemesis is Peter Thiel. A more competent man who will get less done because he is smart enough to not be a reckless dumbass. This is something akin to a rose. This isn't like not a rose. All right. Let's start with a gray for the eye. We're getting close to figuring this out. Okay, let's see. What shape are eyeballs? Something very interesting about how eyes sit in a lot of Han Chinese person's facial structure, because the eyeball obviously is just as round as it is in a Caucasian face, but the roundness is so much more noticeable when your face has a lot less roundness on the surface. Mexican Hongwa. No. Curses. Hey. Well, I think this does need to be extended out. Well, maybe not that much. We'll see. Okay. Your avocado tree. Moon Boy, you can't ask that when there is in brackets what it is right after. Moon Boy, is this a joke? Are you making a bit? Are you doing a bit? You weren't up to doing a garden this year, then the parasite happened and you have many regrets? Oh no. There were variations. Okay. trying to use the reference to know how to build the face structure in general, but then rely on the character design for like the specifics of this character's facial structure. I have not, Endicasp. Okay. Now, here's the difference. Real life Chinese people usually don't have purple eyes. Now, granted, neither do Europeans. This is a noticeable difference from the reference. Okay. Should be... This needs to be a little lower. We're getting closer. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. You had to leave for a bit. We just talked about a lot of stuff. I've been focused on art for the last little bit, so chat's just kind of been going. Okay, let's do a little bit of work on this gold. The clothes I'm going to simplify because I'm mostly trying to learn facial structure right now. Most of what I'm trying to improve and teach myself. Because it is a weak spot of mine. Okay. Let's see. This layer in a gold band. This layer. Add something later for the shape, but it's not needed. Is looking pretty solid. We're talking about avocados, apparently. That's what I've learned. Yeah, so after this, I'm going to go record green screen footage, and then from that, Narwhal should be able to finish the essay tonight, and I should be getting up tomorrow. So you guys look forward tomorrow to seeing the new Drawk Show video essay. You know what? Maybe we'll do like a live watch together tomorrow, and then I can launch it the day after. I don't know. I'm debating. You know what? Tomorrow I've got stuff to do because I have to deal with my dog's groomies and stuff. Maybe we'll launch it on Thursday. That could be fun. Either way, I need everybody to do everything they can. I'm not making a trailer. I need everybody to do everything they can to boost it, now that that's a thing you can do on smaller videos. Because I think this video could do very well if we get eyes on it. And also, I think if it does well, it'll make people watch the Claire Obscure essay, which is great because that thing fucking rules. You'll do your best? Hell yeah, thank you guys. I believe in you all. Just the fucking boosting is the most helpful thing you can do for me at this point on a high effort video. Because if it gets in front of more people, and it gets enough click through, this could set me up to be a real video essayist as like the thing I do, which I very much want, along with obviously political activism. But I don't know how to make money to survive off of activism. Hard to say. I misread what someone said there pretty badly, and it was funny because I misread the skin is pretty bumpy, talking about an avocado to be she is pretty bumpy, and I was like, this girl? This she doesn't look that bumpy to me. Okay. Whoops, daisies. Man, that's crazy that Edelgard's half Chinese, probably. Who would have thunk it? Not I, for sure. Just a little bumpy. Oh, no. Dude, I love drawing gold so much, or painting gold. It's so much fun. Okay. What a fun texture. She also got little dragon features on her like an Edelgard, is what I'm saying. Okay. Bumpy skin under all the makeup? Yeah, for sure. They actually rarely draw Fire Emblem ladies that look like they wear a lot of makeup. It's usually pretty noticeable, the ones that do. And I also just say, I fucking love the art direction from Three Houses, Three Hopes, and Fortune's Weave. It is so good. The facial features are that right mix of stylized and realistic. The body proportions are so realistic, just a little bit exaggerated, barely at all. The hair colors being so diverse is really fun. I think it's some of the best art direction of any game. The character design is phenomenal. The only downside at all is, unlike Engage, the character designs aren't built for 3D, so they can look a little awkward in their 3D models because the designs are built for 2D, and then the 3D models are meant to like be a best we can manage representation of a 2D design in 3D. Say what you will about Engage, those designs are meant for 3D. Aesthetically combines very good the anime style with like darker tones of story. Absolutely. I did think you were a Fire Emblem character. I forgot her name was Ilyana, not Ilani. I was like, wait a minute, she got the same name as a chatter. And then I went, nope. All right, I'm going to try to move a little faster and see if we can get this done in time to raid Oki. Maybe this time she won't be like, I don't see what makes her Egyptian. Now, granted, she thought we were talking about, when you say Egyptian, people don't assume you're talking about the ethnicity. They assume you're talking about like the ancient culture, because Egypt is like Greece, where we all assume when people talk about it, they're referring to ancient of that culture rather than like the contemporary humans that exist nowadays. They are so grossly overshadowed by the record of what was that their modern day incarnation barely exists in the zeitgeist, which is tragic, and how I imagine America will be in 50 years, by the way. Like, did y'all notice? Vosh pointed this out. Brazilian Miku looks like a modern Brazilian woman. All right? And when people in Norway won their fucking game and they wanted to do fan art of their Miku beating Brazilian Miku, they designed like a fucking Viking. The reason they did that is their country doesn't have a modern zeitgeist incarnation. A modern Norwegian woman is wearing a goddamn blouse and jeans. There is no cultural feeling to the presence of Norway, so they needed to lean on their ancient past. And frankly, all respect to Brazil, that she can look Brazilian without having to refer to some weird specific indicator like Carnival or an ancient historical figure. It'd be like if America had so little cultural impact that American Miku had to be dressed in a George Washington wig. I love Northern Europe. I've given them praise, but I do think it says that Brazil, #1, when it comes to cultural impact and relevancy, that their modern fashion and sensibility is representable in a character design in a way that Norway fucking wishes. Don't forget the straw hat. Oh, we'll get the straw hat. Extra sad funny, the two you mentioned, because a lot of the pharaohs were Greek. Yeah. You don't think you've seen Brazilian character that green and yellow? Who cares? That's just the flag. They're allowed to lean on that for impact. But the rest of her still feels Brazilian without the flag. I'm going to call it a win. Japan has this in spades. They can go ancient or modern. They can do like fucking schoolgirl outfit. They can do fucking yukatas. They got it. When making Spanish Miku, they didn't know where to start. No, Spanish Miku's nothing. Spanish Miku might as well not exist. British Miku is art I've seen that has more British identity than Spanish Miku has. Tragically, and you know I don't want to be on Team Britain over Team Spain. You know I don't. Slavs can go both ways? Yes, Slavs. I mean, they can, but not if you're doing a specific country. If you're doing general Slavic, you can go modern or ancient for sure. If you want to do a specific Slavic country, good goddamn luck having anyone feel like you have referenced that country in particular. Ugh. This needed to be darker from the start, I think, for the values we're using later in this piece. Okay. Honghua. Romanian Miku could look nice, traditional Romanian. I guess traditional, but not modern. You think they could do Canadian Miku? No, absolutely not. It would have to be Mounties or a hockey outfit. We have no broad cultural impact. I want you to know I'm never praising Canada when I'm saying that broad cultural impact is important. You could. No, not a beaver hat. Red plaid. You do red plaid and a toque, and that is Canadian. You actually could. You give her Uggs, you give her jeans that don't fit that well, you give her red plaid, and you give her a toque. And that will look Canadian. Red plaid is a very stereotypical Canadian thing. Yeah, the Canadian tuxedo. No. Canadian tuxedos, jean jacket and jeans. You're mistaking your stereotypes, good sir. But yeah, red wool plaid jacket that's too big. A toque. There you go. In order to say, though, not much your style aesthetics, very understated, which is hard to make as a character style. I continue to stand by sauceless was an appropriate critique. Humans rely on sauce. Jeans and jean jacket, plaid toque. No, the plaid's on top for the modern Canadian aesthetic, I feel like. Yeah, Canadian Miku should look tired. She should have a double-double. She should have a small style. That was Finland specifically, and I stand by it. But also, it's Finland specifically because it'd be boring to come at y'all with the same thing. Truly, I don't know what that is, Endicast. Sauceless feels correct if a little mean. I'm sorry, they win in everything else. They deserve sauceless. Argentina's Miku is pretty good. I don't remember that one, but I do remember liking it. Speaking of Miku's, great that they made the Miku Commander deck print to demand. That's going to be awesome. So many people are going to get to play with that. Guerrero's a bullfighter. Interesting. All right, let's see. Oh, she got gold tasselies. This girl is so Chinese Edelgard, dog. It's not even funny. It's funny that she has like such a normal white person hair color, but like hair color and ethnicity is not the same in the world of Fire Emblem. If anyone hasn't noticed. Miku as San Martin was really cool. Interesting. Don't forget, don't get the printed demand. Do you order in a time slot? So the way printed demand worked for the Miku deck is everybody who ordered is going to get one. If you ordered quickly enough, you get the first printing and it'll be there faster. And if it took you longer to order, they'll have to do another print run at their factories and then you'll get it. But the reprint value is super high too. It's overall a pretty good product and a sign of hopefully them starting to listen. I'm just kidding. They're going to make like 38 terrible decisions for every one good one. And to Casp, you can't say bullfighting is hated and then say the right is keeping it alive. It's hated by people who matter, but it is well liked by a lot of people, is what I'm hearing. That's like saying in the United States, MAGA is actually really hated. It's not. When will I do another DM advice? That's a good question. I don't know. Today I wanted to draw that. I definitely don't think I'm going to love Hung Hua as much as Edelgard, but like, I like her. She's cool. Got a really neat design. I'm very excited that it turns out Edelgard might be Chinese just because it makes her weirder. And I like that. Health of mental? Oh, we'll see. Right now, my mental health stream is that I can draw again. This is my mental health. I'll be on stream doing it up. Did I see the Dutch are using PlayStation or suing PlayStation for stealing their media or for drowning the world? I'm curious. You like the feathers in the design? They are cool. Are they phoenix feathers? I'm hoping her name being Crimson Flower means that this game is a Crimson Flower sequel and that we are going to get fucking 4 goddamn sequels to Fire Emblem Three Houses over the next 12 years, and each of them follows a different route as the ending. Wouldn't that be sick? Come on. What EDH deck would Edelgard build? Well, I'll tell you, I'm proxying her as Zuko. But I think that orc who mobilizes, know him? Okay, now let's work on the eyes, and then I think I'm going to do a little bit of shine, and I'm going to call it. Okay. Sorry, getting this precisely right is very touchy. All right, now we do this. Hat made of straws. You're right. I forgot. I had a plan. Thank you for the straw hat reminder. Bup, 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 bup. There we go. Ilani, I mean, you can do that. If you do that, I'm telling you, I'm not going to redraw. I'm going to delete it and end stream and not raid. Like, if you want to do it, you can. There will be no reward at this point. We're too late in the game for me to do that. I need to go do other things. I have other stuff I need to get to. So if you do it, all you're doing is getting rid of this forever. Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. Oh, her eyes have such a cool gradient. I don't want to recreate that. Look how cool that looks. So distrusting. Look, y'all need to understand the stakes sometimes. You want to drop in the middle of the stream or early, that can just be a fun challenge. If you do it now, it's just done. I don't have the energy left. Okay. She's starting to actually look Chinese slightly, so that's an improvement. Wow, this eyeball. I can't draw a circle with my new style of moving my wrist at all. Okay, just a sec. Gotta figure out a new way to trim and shape this eye. For starters, it's just in the wrong spot, isn't it? Yeah, okay. There probably is a little bit longer left than I was saying because finishing touches can take a while, but we are in the finishing touches at the moment. Oh. Can I do a lock your art? That'd be very funny, actually. I don't think I can rig it up to stop someone from buying delete your art, though. So what I would have to do is make it be a, if you redeem delete your art, but then say, I'm using this to lock it out, you don't have to. That's what would do it. Because I can't make one thing turn off another, I think. Well, you can only buy one delete your art per stream. Once one person buys it, it shuts off. You need to go to sleep. Goodbye, Indigas. Thanks for being here. Okay, let's make this look a little nicer. Something interesting we have to do is around the rim of this, we need to make the pupil look like a hole, which means edging that lighter color around the rim of the pupil. Better. Eyelashes here to be a little more present. We need the shading on the eyeball to look a little bit more round and to show how round the edge over here is with the drop off. That's better. This is looking good. Can't wait to have Panlith in the new game be the descendant of Byleth. See, I actually don't think this is a descendant of Edelgard. I just think she's from the same country as Edelgard's mom. That's my take. I think she's gonna tell us, like, yeah, did you know that one of my ancestors, or like one of the ancient members of my clan went over to Fodlan and became empress, or the consort of the emperor forever ago, and her daughter became empress? That's cool, huh? Lore. Okay, let's see. I don't think Edelgard left to Fantasy China after, is what I'm telling you. What did Jay say? What did Moonboy say? I'm not sure what conversation happened. I'm not sure I want to investigate it though. I just saw a couple traces of it and went, maybe not right now for me. Okay. It's definitely rough and unpolished, but like, I'm focusing on forms and planes for my training instead of specificity and refinedness and being refined. And from that perspective, I am really liking this. Hey, talking about my lack of whimsy, not taking advantage of the point system. I'm trying to take advantage of the point system. I don't know what to add that is more whimsical than what we already have. Now, as far as delete your art, that's whimsical. It's just, dog, I've been going for 2 hours almost. It's the end of the stream. I need to go record green screen footage so I can finish this essay. Most artists don't let people delete their art at all. Me being pouty about one case of delete your art is not a lack of whimsy. All right. Go ask Oak about her delete your art option. Hey. I like her. I think this is pretty good. Couple issues. This is always too far to the right. I always do that every time. Issue number 1. Issue number 2. These form a bad silhouette. Because of this feather. This feather is boring. I mean, that would be cute, yeah. Yes, Bellamy popping up when you guys bought a redeem would be very cute. I actually think that's an adorable idea. You're right. All right. Guys, what do we think of Honghua? What's our takeaway on the lady? I mean, I already just flipped my art randomly, though. Where's her hat? Redeem ID, explain a random magic card. How about upside down? I'd need to build a hotkey for it. That sounds terrible. Honestly, though, I would love to build a suite for a drawing challenge day where you guys... That's not a straw hat. This is a straw hat. This is objectively a straw hat. Well, it's a little not that well drawn. This is a straw hat for sure. In no world is this not a straw hat. There. It's crooked. It's a lot. I'm not putting the red. I never put the red band on it when it's in a substance. You guys are inventing rules. It's always just been a shape. Oh my God. You're not allowed to add rules. One day I will do a stream where I let you guys spend reward points to change how I'm drawing as a challenge. That sounds like so much fucking fun. Let's do that next week. Why not? For now, let's raid Oki. Honghua. Not inventing rules and rejecting fun. You guys are raiding. You would love that if that was automatic. I could maybe build that to be automatic, like a Douglas, but it would interfere with my other hotkeys I was pressing. Like it flips with input. Yeah, but like, the problem is I could set that up using the way Doug does it, but then if I happen to be pressing any button, which I often am, it would interfere and your guys' commands wouldn't work. And that would suck. That would be bad. Because then, like, what's the point? All right. Ow. I got sunscreen in my eye when I touched my eye just then. Let's raid our good girl, Oak. Thank you for tuning in. It's nice to draw again. We'll be back at it with exciting stuff at some point, but God, it's just good to relax and draw. She is drawing. Cute girl. See ya. Until next time. I remembered the word to say. It was lovely drawing.